What's up guys, Gibberish HS here today, and today we are finishing up the final card review of all the cards of Ashes of Outland, the newest expansion for Hearthstone. It's going to be really fun. I'm really excited about it. We have so many cards, like over 40 cards to review today, so that's going to be really fun. That's what we're going to be spending most of the video on. As you can see, kind of got a different setup on. This was to make it less stressful on my computer. So yeah, it would have taken me a long time to edit this, so I position it in a way where I can do it this way. So I hope you guys like it. If you do, let me know, and I will do it like this normally from now on. I might just do it normally, so I don't care what y'all think. I'm just kidding. Alright, let's get started with the first card, Overconfident Orc. He's a 3-cost 1/6 common with Taunt. It says, while at full health, has +2 attack. Now, this has been very similar to other cards we've seen in the past. This card especially reminds me of the 4-cost 2/6 card that we saw in neutral. I believe it was Kobolds and Catacombs, but it may not have been. It was where basically if it was the only minion on your side of the board, it had +2 attack. So it's very similar. If you're 1 mana cheaper, you get 1 less attack. And this one, while it's at full health, it has its attack. So if you can play this on turn 3, it's a very good card against aggro decks because, you know, you're just going to have a lot less to deal with when dealing with this card. It's got good stats. It's very cheap. 3 is a good point to play this card at because it's enough to where it'll slow your opponent down. And with the +2 attack, it'll stop that first, like, Flame Imp that does a big amount of damage to you. So, like this card a lot. Alright, next is Rocket Og Merchant. It's a 1-cost 2/1 common for neutral. Battlecry, deal 1 damage to a minion and give it Rush. So this is very interesting. It's a very warrior style play. We see a lot of warriors dealing damage and giving like benefits for taking that damage. This one is pretty cool because it can be flexible to whatever you need it to be. Don't see much play into this, to be honest, unless it is in warrior. We are going to see this damage style warrior come back in Ashes of Outland, so this card could fit into that category. Alright, Rusted Raider, 5-cost 1/8. Love the artwork for this one. Common is a Taunt and Rush. Battlecard, gain +4 attack this turn. So this is also a very good aggressive aggro deck. It has a lot of health, a lot of taunt, and it's Rush, plus you get that. So for the first turn, it is a 5/8 for 5 with taunt and Rush. That's pretty good. Now the 1 health is kind of a 1 attack is kind of a bummer, but that's not a huge deal. I feel like if you're going to play this deck, it's going to be a very taunt warrior style deck, and with cards like the big armadillo guy that buffs all your taunts +2/+2 at the end of your turn, this card would be great with that. Restoring Cultist is a 4-cost 3/3 common. Battlecry, give your other minions Death Rattle, summon a 1/1 demon. So I see this more as an arena card than anything else, or maybe a card in Battlegrounds even. This card I don't really see flowing too well in the standard format. Unless it is in a like Zoolock style deck. It's just like if it was, we have cards like this with Murlocs and Shaman. It's a spell though, and it costs 2. This is a minion, and it does have that effect, so it could see play. If it does, I see it more in just very aggressive Druid or Warlock or decks like that. I don't really see it in anything else. Restoring Initiate, 2-cost 2/2 common for neutral. Death Row, summon a 1/1 imp caster with spell damage +1. It's a very interesting style. I've never seen a card that it spawns a minion with spell damage. It's a very new thing, and I think that's kind of cool. You could do some cool combos where you see if you could get as many death rattles from this guy as you could, and then use that spell damage to your advantage. So that are some cool combinations with that. Scavenging Shavara, 6-cost 6/3 common. Bad stats, but as a battlecry, deal 6 damage randomly spent among all other minions. This is between all minions, and with those stats, I mean, yeah, that's pretty rough. Yeah, I don't like that card. Soulbound Ashtung, 1-cost 1/4 common. Whenever this minion takes damage, also deal that amount to your hero. So yeah, you could do this for totally different reasons. I don't really see this. Again, if it was a bigger card, I could see it, but this card takes whatever damage and it takes it to a hero. So it's not like, you know, like, it's not like it deals 1 damage for every damage it takes. No, this minion, whatever damage it takes when it attacks a minion or when a minion attacks it, you're going to get all that damage to your face, and I just don't think that's worth it. Terror Guard Escapee. 3 cost 3, 7 common, Battlecry 7/3, 1/1 Huntresses for your opponent. These cards are typically used in some decks. They're not used in too many. But this one does have an advantage of being very cheap. The problem with these cards is that a lot of them are more in the mid section of the game. They're 5 to 6 cost mana, and you typically don't want that because in the later games, you don't want to lose your progression in doing that because it doesn't really fit in anything as well. If you're fighting an aggressive deck, you don't want to give them minions, and if you're fighting a very temple style deck that's waiting it out, you don't want to give them those minions to help keep control of the board, or you don't. If they're doing that, they most likely have a lot of spells or stuff that remove that, therefore making this card worthless. This one does have the advantage of being only 3 mana, which is a big boost, but I'm not sure if it's enough to save it. Probably more of an arena card. And finally is Waste Warden, 5 cost 3/3. Love the artwork. Epic. Battlecry deal 3 damage to a minion and all others of the same minion type. So this would do, if you did it to a Murloc, it would deal 3 damage to all Murlocs. That is crazy. This is like a blessing card to fight Murlocs or Treants. Decks are very heavily reliant on one tribe, and this card does a great job of taking those out. Great card. And now we're into Warrior, 5 cost 4/5 rare, Scrap Golem, taunt and has a default of gain armor equal to this minion's attack. It's a mech. So I don't think mechs are going to have too big of a play now that Boomsday is going out. That is kind of an unfortunate one, but this card is very strong in the fact that it already gives you 4 armor when it dies, and it has taunt. So it is a little expensive, but there are ways to buff your mechs in standard. It's just going to be a lot harder when Boomsday goes out. Sword and Board. 1 cost warrior spell. It's a common. It says deal 2 damage to a minion. Gain 2 armor. This is just a very good, it's a very anti-aggressive card, because how this works is when you do this, it helps you gain control of the board while gaining armor. We've seen this damaged warrior is probably going to come out of this expansion. They tried it in Frozen Throne. It kind of worked, but not too well. So maybe it'll work better in Ashes of Outland. So we'll see how it works. This card could be good because it can also use against your minions or theirs, and that makes it a lot better. Blistering Rot is a 3 cost 1/2 neutral minion. It's a rare, and it says at the end of your turn, summon a Rot with stats equal to this minion's. So we've seen cards like this before. All these little blue cards are very similar. The other one we saw though was a lot more expensive. This one has a lot of cool potentials, being just a meme card. It would be awesome to just see your card rip this up. You see how many stats you can get with this card. So I definitely see this as a very fun card that can do a lot of cool potential, and a card that can have a lot of possibilities to it, just for the memes. Bone Chewer Vanguard is a 7 cost 4/10 common, and it says taunt and whenever this minion takes damage, gain +2 attack. Now this could be put into a taunt warrior. The problem with this deck is that it doesn't have anything to really protect itself from big spells. Priest is getting a whole new revamp, so it can kill 4 cost minions now. We're just seeing a big change in Hearthstone, and I don't think this card is going to survive that. I don't think you're going to want to put in a card that can really take that much damage that easily. And for that, I'm not sure about it. Burrowing Scorpion is a 4 cost 5/2 common. Battlecry deal 2 damage. If that kills the target, gains stealth. This is okay. it just screams arena to me. So not much to it for standard, but for arena, very good card that can help you help you remove things on the board while having a very good stealth minion on it. Disguised Wanderer is a 4-cost 3/3, a demon, and it's a common. It says Death Rattle summon a 9/1 Inquisitor. Whoa, right? Well, this card isn't actually that bad from my point of view. You do lose some momentum from playing this on turn 4. But this card is also very beneficial in the fact that we have that new legendary that can kill this card and then, you know, summon a 9/1 on turn 5. So we have ways of triggering this Death Rattle, which could be kind of cool to see. But like with the new Demon Hunter hero power, I mean, it could easily remove that. Not only would it take 9 damage, but there are a lot of easy ways to get rid of this. Dragon Ball Sky Stalker is a 6-cost 5/6 common with a Death Rattle that says summon a 3/4 Dragon Rider. It's a dragon. So dragons are obviously, I don't think it's reasonable to rule out any dragon before the expansion really comes out. Dragons are always going to be a big part of Hearthstone for a long time, especially with, you know, the Year of the Dragon. It was a huge pusher for dragons, so this card is definitely going to have some play, whether if it's in arena or if it's in standard, that is yet to be seen. One thing that's good to know, guys, is that standard, these last cards are usually neutral cards, or like kind of like the last ones that people don't usually care about as much, but these cards typically are played more in arena than the cards that are revealed to us, so just keep that in mind. Ethereal Merchant is a 1-cost 2/1. I thought it was an elemental, but it's not. It has it's a common. It says battle card, deal 1 damage to a minion and give it spell damage +1. This is pretty cool. I like this spell damage kind of thing they got going on because it reminds me a lot of, you know, mages and naga and demons are very influential with magic. So I think it's pretty cool they're implementing that. This card has some cool stuff, but I don't really see a benefit of really having this effect. So I don't really see why would you, this kind of style doesn't really fit any deck type that we've seen yet. So that is yet to be seen. Maybe this will come through. Maybe we will get an amazing spell damage deck where you damage your minions and you use it. It's possible. I just don't see it coming yet. Felfin Navigator is the 4-cost 4/4 common. It's a neutral Murloc, and it says battle cry, give your other Murlocs +1/+1. This card's really good, and will definitely see play in Paladin World and Paladin and Shaman Murloc. Frozen Shadow Weaver is a 3-cost 4/3 common. This is battle cry, freeze an enemy. That's pretty simple, straightforward. More of an arena card, but could have potential. Infectious Spore Lane is a 1-cost 1/2 rare for neutral. After this damages a minion, turn it into an Infectious Spore Lane. So it's kind of interesting, right? After this damages a minion, it turns it into this minion. It's a very interesting card, that is to be sure. More of a mean card than anything. If you can find a way to give this minion rush or charge, this minion is going to be hilarious. Alright. Serpentshire Portal. This is a card that's basically straight ripped off from Karazhan, which is pretty funny. 3-cost Shaman spell, common, deal 3 damage, summon a random 3-cost minion, overload 1. I think this card is pretty good. I think it'll help you just push for board. It looks like Evolved Shaman's going to have some place in the meta for standard, so this card definitely has some potential to make it through, and I can definitely see it being very good. Totemic Reflection, 3-cost Shaman spell, give a minion +2/2. If it's a totem, summon a copy of it. I don't think this card's good. Totem buffs are really in decks unless they're very cheap, and yeah, because like, do you really? No one really wants to put a totem spell in their deck. And the reason being is that totems are crappy. No one likes totems. So yeah. If you have a totem on the board and you do this, that's pretty cool. You get a 2/4 or, you know, a 3/3. 2 of them. That really helps. But you gotta draw this like on turn 3. And you could use this on Amalgam, but whatever. I don't like it. Vivid Spores is a 4-cost shaman spell. It's a rare and it says give your minions Death Rattle. Resummon this minion. Resummon this minion. So if you watched the Creparian stream, you saw that this is a very, very powerful card if used correctly. There are so many cards similar to this, but they're way worse because they're like summon 1/1 Murloc for 2 mana. This gives you the whole minion back, which is going to make Murloc Shaman a thing again. It's just a crazy, crazy card. Dark Glare is a 3-cost 3/4 epic for Warlock. Finally, the Warlock. It's a demon that says after your hero takes damage, refresh 2 mana crystals. So, this is really cool. This basically means you get a free draw of your hero. You use your hero power, you get it for free, basically. And, yeah, it's pretty neat. I'm not sure if this works as like a, where you could just ramp up real quick. Because if so, that's crazy. Or if it's just like 2 mana crystals this turn. It doesn't say this turn. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait to see. But either way, this is a crazy good card that's going to really help push Warlock forward and some other cards for Zoolock. Enhanced Dreadlord is an 8-cost 5/7 rare for Warlock, and it says Death Rattle, summon a 5/5 Dreadlord with Lifesteal. So, if this minion wasn't a demon, I probably wouldn't be too happy about it, but it is a demon, and the card art is fucking amazing, so I love that. But in all seriousness, like, this card actually, I think, could have some potential. We're seeing a lot of big demon decks come forward, and I would love to see this card in it. I really like the style. I mean, it's just kind of, we don't really get cards like this a lot. A fairly statted demon, like, it's not the greatest, but it's not horrible, that gives you a pretty decent demon when it dies. So that's something to think about. Hand of Gul'dan, 6-cost Warlock spell. It's a common, and it says when you play this, when you play it or discard this, draw 3 cards. That's right. So this card is a lot like, I believe it was something like Hand of Jaraxxus or something like that. And it's going to really help push forward, not just discard Warlock, but this is going to really help push forward Zoo Warlock. And if you're going to have a card that's going to discard something, this is going to be in it. Because what this card does is, it's expensive enough for those cards that are like, discard your highest cost spell or something like that. You know, things like that. It's high enough cost where that is likely to happen, and it draws so much cards. If you saw a Crip stream of the card reveal, you know that he drew cards very fast with it. Canrathad Ibn Lake. Not sure if I said that right, but he's a 2-cost 3/2 legendary Warlock minion. He is the prime for Warlock, and it says your demons cost 1 less. So that's kind of cool. Death Rattle Shuffle Canrathad, a prime into your deck. And what is Canrathad Prime? Alright, and here is the Canrathad Prime. He's an 8-cost 7/6 demon. Battlecry summon 3 friendly demons that died this game. This card is really, really cool because it really brings back big demons, and I love big demons. Any big demon deck is my favorite. I really love Q-Block, even after it got nerfed to death, because I just love summoning as many big demons as possible. Alright. Blade Storm is a 3-cost warrior spell that's an epic, and says deal 1 damage to all minions. Repeat until 1 dies. So this is very similar to Defile from Warlock, but it does the opposite. Instead of repeating when it kills a minion, it repeats until it does kill a minion. You know, instead of repeating after it kills a minion, it repeats until a minion dies. Sorry, that was weird. So I think this is actually potentially better because it has the flexibility of killing those annoying Zoolock decks if used right. So the problem with like Treant decks is that you have to damage one and then use the Defile to position the cards right. This one, you can just do it until one dies. Now this does have the opposite effect of if there's a 1 health minion on the board, it stops this effect. But there are ways of killing that one minion and then doing this. So it is one more mana, so I would probably still say, yeah, I'm going to say Defile is actually still better. But I do like Bladestorm a lot. Blood Boil Brute. He is a 7 cost 6/8 rush minion, costs 1 less for each damage minion. Another supporter of this damage minion warrior deck. It hasn't worked in the past, but this new meta that we're going to get is going to be crazy, so we never know what's going to happen. So Blood Boil Brute could have a spot in here. I don't see why not. And it says for each damage minion. Not for each one of your damage minions, each damage minion. So even their minions. So using cards like the one we just saw would be great for this. Corsair Cachet is a 2-cost warrior spell. It's a rare and it says draw a weapon, give it +1/+1. I don't really see this card in here. Unless it's a really good weapon, I don't really see you wanting to put it in here. So maybe in a pirate warrior deck I can see that. Where you want to draw a card as fast as possible. But until then, I would generally say no. Imprison Gonrag or whatever it is. He is a 1-cost 2/2 demon for warrior. That's kind of weird, but whatever. He's a common and it says dormant for 2 turns. When this awakens, equip the 3/2 axe. So this is pretty good. Because turn 1 for warrior is really good at postponing deaths and all that. So this is a very good card to really just play on turn 1. Get the board going. You can skip that first turn if you had to. It's a card that's very good for board control, and I think I like it a lot. Marsh Spawn is a 3-cost 3/4 elemental. Common, battle cry. If you cast a spell last turn, discover a spell. So this is pretty cool. If you just cast a spell last turn, you get to discover a spell. It allows you to do a lot more flexibility. Let you to clear the board, and then you can choose to do this again if you wanted to. Very cool. I'm a big fan of this style of card. Spine Mistress. This card is just stupid. This card is... I don't like this card. It's not because it's a bad card. It's because it's the opposite. There's literally a card of this in the basic set, I believe, or classic. And it's a 2-cost 3/1 with stealth. It's a no-try minion, and it's neutral. So you gave us a 1-cost 3/1 stealth minion. Why? I just don't... They should just buff the card that we already have, god dang it. Dirty Tricks is a 2-cost rogue secret. It's a common says after your opponent casts a spell, draw 2 cards. So that's actually pretty cool. Rogue likes drawing cards, and this is a way of doing that. There's really not much to it. I think secrets are going to be a really good thing in part of Rogue, and I can definitely see them being good. I like it. Cursed Vagrant is a 7-cost 7/5 minion that's a common. It says Death Rattle, summon a 7/5 shadow with stealth. So this is kind of cool. You get a big stealth minion. Basically, when this minion dies, it comes back to life as a stealth minion. Now, Rogue isn't typically known for using big, expensive cards in their deck unless they have a really big effect to them. So this card I don't generally see in their deck unless they were playing a very different style Death Rattle Rogue deck. You know, this card, if it was like in a Death Rattle Beast deck, and if it was a Beast, would be a very different card because, you know, you have a lot of Death Rattle and Beast synergies that work together. This card doesn't really have that, so it doesn't really fit as well. Bamboozle is a 2-cost rogue secret, and it says when one of your minions is attacked, transform it into a random one that costs 3 more. So let's do it again. When one of your minions is attacked, transform it into a random one that costs 3 more. That's pretty major. This is gonna make your opponent really hesitate to attacking your minions. I think this spell is really good, and yeah. Ash Tongue Slayer is a 2-cost 3/2 rare rogue card. This is back right. Give a stealth minion +3 attack and immune this turn. This card is very strong just because it's at 2. I would have expected it to be at 3 from Blizzard. So it is very interesting seeing it at 2 mana. Yeah, if I could say anything about it, I would just say that it's going to be a very strong card that's going to help push the board. It's good early game because it helps push the board with the attack, which is crazy. And then it helps push the board in late game because it gives the priority immune. So it has both qualities to make it good. Soul Mirror is a 7-cost legendary priest spell. I like how we're getting spells back in legendary form. That's pretty cool. It's a 7-cost spell and it says summon copies of enemy minions. They attack their copies. So this is really interesting. We're not really sure how priest is gonna play yet, so it's gonna be very interesting seeing that. I'm a big fan of this style card. I like the idea of taking your opponent's minions. It's very good against most decks. I like it. Alright. A lot of cards, guys. Skeletal Dragon is a 7-cost 4/9 Taunt Priest Dragon. I love the card artwork. At the end of your turn, add a dragon to your hand. So, this is just kind of cool. I mean, Priest has been fairly good with dragons, but they haven't really pushed that too forward. So I would really like to see this card again. I think it's actually pretty cool, and I like it. Renew is a 1-cost priest spell. It's a common that says restore 3 health. Discover a spell. So the fact that you're discovering a spell is actually pretty cool and very important. You can just use this on yourself on turn 1 and get the spell you wanted, and that is a very strong thing. So this card is going to be in a lot of priest decks, I can definitely tell. So, next card. Alright, so let's start with this one first. Reliquary of Souls is a 1-cost 1/2 priest legendary. It's a lifesteal and it says Death Row Shuffle Reliquary Prime into your deck. Now we are seeing a more Zulok style priest come forward, so this card as a 1-cost 1/3 is actually fairly good, I think. And the Prime is a 7-cost 6/8 and it says Reliquary Prime Taunt Lifesteal. Only you can target this with spells and hero power. So basically you're gonna heal a lot of health and you're gonna get a lot of control from this. I don't think it's as good as some of the other primes we've seen, just because the other primes have a lot more brute power than this and they could easily take this out. But I do think it's kind of an interesting style for priest with the healing factor, and I think it has a lot of cool parts to it that can make it work if they wanted it to. So I like it. Psych Split is a 5-cost priest spell, and it's a rare, and it says give a minion +1/+2, summon a copy of it. So, kind of cool, but really, really expensive. Alright, so there was a card, I believe it may still exist. I think it's in Boomsday. It's a 5-cost priest spell, and it's in Boomsday. And it summons a 5/5 copy of a minion. So this gives it +1/+2 and then summons a copy of it. So I do think it's better of it to a fault. But that card never saw play, and this card's just a little bit better, so I don't see it getting much play. Dragon Ball Sentinel. Battlecry, if you're holding a dragon, gain +1 attack and lifesteal. So you get a 2/4 with lifesteal. That's pretty good. Pretty good card. Imprisoned Homunculus? That was weird. 1-cost 2/5 Demon for Priest. I love the artwork. He kind of looks like Roadhog. Dormant for 2 turns. He gains taunt. Nah. Yeah, that's my review for it. Nah. Underlight Angling Rod. I'm not sure if we've done this one before, but if we had, it's completely different now because we are getting a lot more Murloc supporting cards, which we will get to throughout the video. And this card is just crazy good now that I've seen those cards. It's definitely going to make its way into Paladin Murloc. Gee, what is it with these names, guys? Apotheosis, that's what I'm going to call it. 3-cost priest spell. It's a common that says give a minion +2/3 and lifesteal. Considering we're seeing this buff priest come in effect and with the legendary, I am more than happy to say this is a good card. Font of Power. It's a 1-cost mage spell, and this is a rare, and it says discover a mage minion. If your deck has no minions, keep all 3. So this just guarantees now that we're going to have a spell mage deck. Yeah. It's a great card that helps you really gain fast control. It's like the mech card Omega Assembly, I think it was called, for Warrior. And you had to be at 10 mana crystals, but then you got to keep all 3 mechs. This lets you do that at the very beginning if you have no minions. And that is a huge benefit that mages are going to love and keep. Deep Freeze, and they cost mage spell. It's a rare, and it says freeze an enemy, summon 2 3/6 water elementals. Water elementals, if you don't know, are 3/6 elementals that freeze minions when they attack. So this reminds me a lot of the Spirit Wolf card that got in Galaxy Warrior. It invokes or something like that. If you've invoked twice and summon like the Spirit Wolves and all that. So this is a really good card. This is definitely going to be in spell mage decks, I believe, because so the 3 cost 3/6 are 3 costs, are they're either 3 or 4 costs, but this lets you get the freeze, which it isn't much, but it helps you get a big spell out for very cheap, and I think that's going to be very valuable. Ash Tongue Battlelord is a 4 cost 3/5. He's a taunt and lifesteal. I don't know why. This just makes me think of a D&D character when I see it. I don't know why. I just like it. It's a Demon Hunter card. Demon Hunter! And he looks really, really cool. I just like this card, and I think he has a lot of potential. I wish he was a demon, but I mean, besides that, he's pretty cool. He's very oddly placed. He's more of like a neutral card than a class card, so there is that problem, but he has potential. Scrap Shot is a 4 cost hunter spell. Rare, deal 3 damage, give a random beast in your hand +3/+3. So this is pretty cool. I think this card has potential to make it into a deck. We're seeing a lot of buff beast synergies from Hunter, and I'm for that. I think it could be really cool. And this is very, very outright. Like, if you're putting this into your deck, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going pure buff Hunter, but it does mean, it could just mean you like it in your control Hunter deck and you wanted to, and you have a couple beasts in there. That came out a little weird, but I think you guys get what I'm trying to say. Way too close. Wait, let's back out a little bit. Alright. Crimson Sigil, a runner. The 1 cost 2/1 common for Demon Hunter. Outcast, draw a card. This is a great card because I believe that if you draw this, you're just going to want to play it. And if you get it in your opening hand, that's great. In any way, I think this card is very good and very strong. Guardian Og Merchant is a 1 cost 2/1 common, and it is neutral. It says battle card, deal 1 damage to a minion and give it Divine Shield. This fits more into that warrior thing we were talking about, and looks like they may be trying to extend that outward to other classes. Greyheart Sage is a 3 cost 3/3 epic rogue. Don't see stats like that often. It's a battle cry. If you control a stealth minion, draw 2 cards. Now with cards like the Akama Prime, that could be very easy to achieve because he has permanent stealth. And then we have cards like that stupid 1 cost 3/1 card with stealth that it makes this even easier. So yeah, this is a great card. Alright, Paladin cards. These are cards I'm kind of been really excited about. Murgurgle. I love that. 2 cost 2/1 Divine Shield Murloc for Paladin. It's a legendary. It says Defro. Shuffle a Murgle Prime into your deck. And what does Murgle Prime look like? Well, he is a freaking 8 cost 6/3 Murloc. Divine Shield. Battlecry, summon 4 random Murlocs. Give them Divine Shield. This is a crazy card that's going to really help you push forward in the deck. Now, here's the thing. With, I think it's like every Fin in, or, you know, I forget, the 8 cost Paladin spell that summons 8, like, I think it's 7 Murlocs from your deck. That card is really good. And what this does is, that is this card, but you're able, like, you can put your Prime card into this deck because it's very easy to get him. Now, there is a downside that you would get him without the Battlecry, and that would be a huge disadvantage to him. But he is such a good minion for just pulling for Murlocs, I think he'll be worth it. Or if you get him, if you get the original version from your 8 cost spell, and then he dies, you have a very good chance of drawing him faster because of what you've seen, because of drawing all your cards. So I love this card. Imprison Sungil, another Murloc card for Paladin. 1 cost 2/1 Murloc. It's a rare and it says dormant for 2 turns. When this awakens, summon 2 1/1 Murlocs. So, summoning Murlocs is pretty cool and very crucial. And I think this card is good, but the problem is you don't really want to lose tempo when you're pushing forward and your Murloc deck. This kind of does that. I see this more as a turn 4 or turn 5 play from Paladin than rather a turn 1. I feel like you would only want to play this on turn 1 if it was the only card in your hand. Glowfly Swarm, it's a 5 cost epic for Druid, and to summon a 2/2 Glowfly for each spell in your hand. This is very similar to like the Witchwood card, Whispers of Wind. They're keeping. I've noticed that a lot of cards are going out. Like some interesting ones are staying kind of in just different ways. So that one was a 3 cost spell that summoned a 1/1 Wisp for every minion in your hand. It summons a 2/2 basically Glowfly for every card in your hand. That's a spell. This card is very easy to achieve and very cool. This one is specific to spells, which I don't believe the other one was, so there is that to consider. It does limit it a lot more, and it's more expensive, but I think you could fit it in your deck if you had to. Supreme Abyssals, and they cost 12/12 Demon. It says can't attack heroes into common. Is that good? That's okay. I mean, I don't see it much play in Standard. These cards aren't typically played too much because the problem is that they're just not as it's not really worth it to get this guy with no effect, which can't attack heroes. If he had Rush, maybe, but he doesn't even have Rush, and that's the problem. Kaladin the Breaker is a 6 cost 3/3 Warlock. Battlecry, destroy a minion if drawn this turn, instead destroying all minions except destroy all minions except this one. So basically, Battlecry, destroy a minion if drawn this turn, instead destroy all minions except this one. Okay, that took me a second, but I got it. So this card, when you draw him and you play him on the same turn, he deals a huge effect. So, this is an interesting card, alright? It has a lot of cool things with it. My only problem is this card is too expensive. And I say that because what if you drew this on turn 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1? You're screwed now. You have nothing, like, now you only destroy it, you get a crappy card with that. So I don't see this card being played too much, just because I don't, unless you're going to shuffle it back in your deck, I don't see it really working too well because it's just too expensive and there's too much of a risk of not being able to play it on time. Scrapeyard Colossus is a 10 cost 7/7 taunt minion for neutral, and it says therefore summon a 7/7 Fellcracker Colossus with taunt. So basically when this minion dies, it comes back to life for one more time. Whether that is a elemental or not, probably. This is okay. More of an arena card than anything. It's kind of hard to judge because it has a lot of, yeah, it's just kind of, it's too bulky. These bulky minions don't really work as well. Alright guys, we're at the final stretch. 5 cost 4/6 Lightning Round, 5 cost 4/6 Epic Shattered Rumbler. Battlecry, if you cast a spell last turn, deal 2 damage to all minions. Really good card. You're going to be able to cast spells really easy as Shaman. And then we got Magtheridon, one of my favorite Dreadlord of all time. He's a 4 cost 12/12 Legendary. Holy crap, good, right? Well, he has Dormant. Battlecry, summon 3/1/3 enemy warders. When they die, destroy all minions and awaken. This card's really strong because it's a lot better than cards like the Darkness because you're actually able to do something with it and you're actually able to achieve it easily. So yeah, this card's really good. I like it. Alright, let's back it up a little bit. Hand of Adal is a 2 cost paladin spell. Give a minion +2/+2, draw a card. It's common. This is an okay card. I don't really see it working too much unless it is in a Murloc deck, which could happen. Replicate Otron is a 4-cost 3/3. At the end of your turn, transform a neighbor into a copy of this. This is a meme card, probably not much more than that. Netherwalker is a 2-cost 2/2 common for Demon Hunter. Battlecry, discover a demon. It's a very strong effect that's going to help you push tempo on the board. If only it had taunt, then it would be better. Immolation Aura is a 2-cost Demon Hunter spell. And it says deal 1 damage to all minions twice. Really cool. I like it a lot. You get the basically double this twin spell effect without the actual spell, and I like that. Pack Tactics Hunter Secret. Didn't think we were getting an expansion without a Hunter Secret, right? When a friendly minion is attacked, summon the 3/3 copy. That's pretty good. I like it, especially with those beast synergies we've been seeing. And if you got into a prime card too, that'd be really good. 1-cost 2/1 beast for a hunter. Hellbar. Death Rattle, give a random beast in your hand +1/+1. This card can be good. We've seen cards like this kind of work for hunter. I don't rule anything out when it comes to beast and hunter because any beast can actually be good in hunter. The meta is going to be crazy, guys, and we have no idea how it's going to be. Overgrowth is a 4-cost druid spell. Its common is gain 2 empty mana crystals. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Considering that you're getting 1 mana crystal with 3 costs for nourish, do you think that's pretty good? Well, it's only empty ones. So, I mean, yeah, you get them. I just think it's too bulky to put into your deck. And finally, the last card, Bog Beam, 3-cost druid spell. It's a common. It says deal 3 damage to a minion. Cost 0 if you have at least 7 mana crystals. I don't know if we've done this one before. Yeah. It's pretty good. It's kind of hard to fit into a druid deck, but it has potential. I like it. And there you go, my friends. That's right. We made it through. It was a lot. Oh man, that took a lot out of me. But we made it through all the way. Woohoo! So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. All the good stuff. If you guys are still here after 42 minutes, wow, you guys are true believers. And I appreciate all that you guys do for the channel. Let's get to 30 subscribers, shall we? And I'm excited about Ashes of Outland. And the effects of the Priest update goes live next week. So I will be playing Priest decks all day tomorrow. You can see me do that on YouTube. And then, yeah, we have a bunch of different things going on. I'll be doing the Demon Hunter Prologue campaign too. So I love y'all. I will see y'all next time. Bye.